Hi.
Hi.
Though we won't be able to be with you tonight in person to celebrate Iris and George,
We'd like to offer our great appreciation to these two foundational figures of the project.
to George, who single-handedly elevated an undistinguished, nearly disposable material
Foam core,
to new heights, and to Iris,
whose great designs are the perfect reflection of the spirit of the project for all these years.
Hello, my name is Michael Bernard, and I was the Associate Artistic Director at the project for about 10 years. And I am so sorry I can't be there celebrating George and Iris, two people who absolutely deserve to be celebrated and feted to the extreme, both because they're amazing people and for the great work they did for the 52nd Street project. When I started at the project, Iris had already been there for a long time, creating beautiful artwork. And the thing about her art that I remember thinking is it was so perfect. It was a perfect invitation to what the work was. When you looked at the posters, when you looked at the things she created, and then you walked in, you're like, yes, of course. And then you meet her, and she's so wonderfully warm and welcoming and such a beautiful person. Just a thrill to be her friend.
George Babiak is a genius. No one I've ever met in my entire design career has had the ability to do what George has done, which is take the essence of a thing and translate it onto a flat piece of foam core in such a dynamic and witty way. Then there's George as a person: kind, patient, clever, smart, zebra striped, Hulk Hogan-esque, uber chill, and a pleasure to be around.
And I learned so much from the project, and specifically George. I remember I was 13 years old. I didn't have a father figure in my life. You took that to heart when you became my smart partner, and you kind of took the mantle of being like that man, fatherly figure. I remember I was 13 years old and I didn't know how to ride a bike. You took me on a Saturday, and I remember falling and getting back up, falling. And the way that you handled me and not making me feel like I was weird for not knowing, and that just changed my whole perspective. I have 4 children now, and every time I teach my child how to ride, I always think about you.
Hello, Lewis Black here. In case you've forgotten, I haven't been able to be at one of these extraordinary benefits in quite some time because, I don't know if they don't want me around or what the deal is, but look, they look at my calendar, see when I'm on the road and go, hey, let's do the benefit then. And this is one that, like all of the others, that I really wanted to be at, especially for Iris Brown and George Babiak's honoring. Are you kidding me? This is absurd. And where am I? I'm down in Florida, okay? And now I have to do this from my basically public access cable studio that I've constructed specifically to be able to get this out there to you, the two of you who I treasure, okay? It's just extraordinary to me that it has taken this long for them to honor actually two people who do stuff. They honored me a long time ago, and I don't do nothing. I really do admire what you do, how you've done it, who you are as people. It's just a side note. It should be noted that I am the matchmaker who brought together Joe White and Iris Brown. I know, pretty remarkable, but we'll save that for another time. Tonight, it's your night, guys.
Hi, George. You're the greatest. Your props are the greatest. I love how in that play with Kevin Gear, the boxer and the dancer, you made a point to show me every night before we did the show how to mime stitching his wounds, how to pull the string in the right way, and how you made those incredible foam core teeth so that when Kevin hit you in the jaw, you spat the teeth out. It was absolutely hilarious. There's certain things like that that not only crack me up, but just demonstrate your love, your precision, your artistry, your humor. And I have stolen as many props as I can. This is one in particular that I love, of Cereos. Notice the details, specific mills, and then nothing free inside. And then you have healthy but rather dull and unsweetened cereal, the absolute opposite of Cheerios.
So I remember that. I remember specifically that she said that I had too much hair to be Tony Soprano. She was very calm and very cool about everything because it was like it's a show that not a lot of 9 and 10-year-olds know about. She explained it to us in a way that it was understandable too, because she told me to be a certain way. This is how you need to pose, and like she told everybody that, and everything was specific to the characters. Seeing that later, I was like, oh, she was pretty accurate. George is my first and only smart partner. We did everything from play ping pong to he took me to see Avatar at the Ziegfeld in 3D. I'm directing films now, so like that activated something in me back then that I didn't even know was there. How he used to create the props. I was always curious about how they did everything production-wise at the project. He was always my way into that because he had no gripes about sharing, about telling me how things were done, or taking me in the theater on top of the big wires where I was scared to death. He still took me anyways.
When he was there, we would all sit and have lunch together, and Vanessa would pack him his lunch, and she would always wrap 2 cookies in some wax paper for dessert. And so John Sheehy and I decided that if George were a gangster, his gangster name would be Georgie 2 Cookies. And we would speak to him this way, which he hated, being we loved to do because we loved to torture him. We would say, hey, Georgie 2 Cookies, hey. And it drove him crazy. And hopefully he's triggered right now in the corner of the room, because that's my legacy at the project. But the last thing I want to say before I go is I do have one of George's pieces of artwork hanging here in my office garage that I want to show you, and they're probably going to cut off the video.
Back in the day, I got to work with Iris on the invitations for the gala. And a lot of times those involved photo shoots with the kids. High concept things like Hollywood Squares. We had a little Laurel and Hardy one time. We did the entire poster for The Sopranos. It was always a joy, and I was always looking forward to see what crazy design challenge she would come up with for us the next year.
Iris, I love the fact that your Instagram describes you as designer, gardener, and New Yorker. It's perfect. You design and grow things so beautifully. It also encapsulates the beautiful creative soul that you are. I've had the pleasure of sharing dinners with you. You're an incredible cook. You and Joe have created this wonderful son and walker. You just are one of the coolest people that I know. And I cannot think of 2 better people, you and George, to be honored at the project tonight, because all the love that you bring to the things that you've designed have just enriched our lives in so many ways. So thank you for the joy of creation, and just for being a good soul and being somebody that I can bitch and moan about politics to.
Every time we met, we traded music. So we came with like 3 or 4 songs each, and then we burned it onto a CD and then gave it to each other. He makes everything fun. We both dressed up like as variations of Michael Jackson, and we were the Smooth Criminals. Like even with the mezzo soprano thing, I still have the old invite for the benefit. I have it like laminated, sealed. I was like, I don't ever want to lose this. Plus, I have a copy on my phone.
So I want to say I love you, Iris. I love you, George. Congratulations. I love you, 52nd Street Project. I miss you so much. I'm now going to show you the artwork. If they cut it off, that's too bad, because I think this is one of George's greatest pieces.
Congratulations, George. You have contributed so much, and you deserve everything that's coming for you, man. And I really appreciate you.
To the 2 of you, thank you from the bottom of my heart for all you've given to us here at the project.
Congratulations. You've made so many of us volunteers happy and joyous, and I know you've done the same for kids. I cannot imagine the project without you, and I consider all of us that had a chance to work with you that much more blessed. I love you.
We admire you both enormously, and we'd like to raise a glass to toast.
To the masters,